I got my whole leg tattooed and it took 60 hours to complete. That is a lot of hours in the chair and a lot of pain that I had to endure. And to be honest with you, there was some areas of the leg when I was getting tattooed that I didn't think I was going to be able to take, and I almost tapped out. And with that said, I figured in this video, I'm going to take you throughout my whole leg sleeve and rate the pain on each section on what it feels like to get tattooed there. 1 being the easiest, going all the way to 5 being the absolute worst. So if you plan on getting a tattoo on the leg or a full-blown leg sleeve in general, you're probably going to want to stick around and watch this video. And also, subscribe. We talk all about tattoos here on EvolveINK. First, a quick disclaimer. I want to say that this pain scale is based off of my experience and my experience alone. Pain varies from person to person and everybody experiences pain differently. Just wanted to add that in there. The first area we're going to rate on the pain scale is the upper thigh area, and I will say this right off the bat that this was probably one of the easiest tattooed areas that I've got done on my body so far. Now with that said, I did experience another problem with this. Now the one big issue about getting your leg tattooed, no matter what area it is, but especially the upper thigh, was just sitting for hours on end. Sitting 8 hours straight while getting tattooed at the same time is no easy task. But since we're here to do some pain ratings, this area of the thigh, I would give a 1 out of 5. It was super easy to get done. But if we were talking about how my ass felt after this session, I'm gonna say a 10 out of 10. Moving into the inner thigh area. Now, this area in particular, I was super nervous to get tattooed because I got both of my inner biceps done and I figured those sucked. The inner thigh is probably gonna be even worse, but it actually wasn't that bad. Typically, the more sensitive areas of the body equals more tattoo pain, but for the inner thigh, it wasn't that bad. The worst part, I would say, about getting the inner thigh tattooed was just the way you had to sit and combine that with the awkwardness of your tattoo artist kind of being close to your crotch area. It was a little bit awkward. Now, rating this area on the pain scale, I would give it around a 2 out of 5. Wasn't too terrible. There was some areas that hurt more than others, like say when he was getting really close to like my crotch area. But for the most part of the whole area, I'm gonna say 2 out of 5. Not bad at all. Surprisingly, moving on to the outer thigh where my Voldemort piece is, that side hurt a lot more than the inner thigh, which caught me completely off guard.
This spot sucks. It really does. It just sucks. I don't have anything else to say.
Now the reason why I think it hurt a lot more was 2 reasons. One, we did a lot of color packing into this part of the piece. Now my whole sleeve is black and gray, but there is pops of color here. At the Voldemort piece, we had to really pack in those greens for them to pop and stand out and stick. And the other reason why it probably hurt more was because this tattoo took a lot more to get done because there was so many little minute details in the piece in general. And on top of the pain of actually getting the tattoo done, I had to sit with a literal paper towel roll in between my legs just to prop it up so Matt could go and tattoo me and not, you know, have any problems. Which was super uncomfortable, but there wasn't really much we could do. So for the pain rating of this area, I'm gonna have to say a 3 out of 5. Definitely more painful than the inner thigh, but overall wasn't terrible. Moving on to the back of the thigh. This is where it was really painful for me and I was screaming inside. It was the newspaper of the serious portion. Now, again, there was a lot of detail that had to be packed into this area, as well as it took a little bit longer to, you know, pack in those details. So I was under the needle longer, and the more time you're under the needle getting tattooed, the more your body starts to wear down and it becomes more painful. But oh my God, when Matt was tattooing the area that's like right underneath my butt cheek, I don't know if it was like nerves being crazy and I don't even know what it was, but when Matt was tattooing up there, I literally felt like he was tattooing the rim of my hole, and I'm not even joking. And also, I want to speak on an unspoken rule that I don't really hear people talk about when they're getting their leg tattooed, but I know everybody's thinking about it. It is so hard to not have to bust ass while your tattoo artist is tattooing you. It was a common problem that I had throughout this whole leg sleeve, and especially this area because he's right in the danger zone. Sorry, Matt, if you're watching this. But if you got tattooed on the leg for a long period of time, I'm sure you can relate to what I just said. One other thing I will say about this area, this was at the end of my leg sleeve journey, and I was getting tattooed like every 2 weeks. So I definitely had some tattoo fatigue, which could have actually ended up enhancing the pain for me because my body was just so done getting tattooed. I'm rating this area definite 4 out of 5. It was terrible, and it was one of those areas that I thought I was gonna have to tap out. Real quick, if you're enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up. Moving down to my knee ditch area. This was another one of those areas that I was super nervous to get done because of the experience I had with getting my, elbow ditches done. But again, wasn't that bad. There was definitely some areas that he was tattooing which were a little bit more of a sting, if anything. Like, it felt like literally a molten pen going into my skin. Other areas, it was kind of just like a vibration feeling. It wasn't that bad. On the pain scale, I'm gonna give this area a 3 out of 5. Now, flip on to the other side where my knee is. If you watched my videos before, I got my whole chest tattooed, all my arms tattooed, I got my whole leg done. The knee, by far the worst pain that I've ever experienced getting tattooed.
The knee is terrible.
I don't even know how to explain it. It was just such a burning sensation and a sharp sensation. Something that I've never experienced before while getting tattooed, and every single second that Matt was going over my knee, I just wanted it to end. And the worst part about this area was we had to go over it like 3 or 4 times because the knee, when you're tattooing, the ink always doesn't stick that well there because it's an area of the body that moves a lot. This area getting tattooed was so bad that I was reconsidering going to get my other leg done because I never wanted to experience that pain again. Now, even though it was worth it in the long run because I feel like my leg sleeve looks awesome, the pain, definitely a 5 out of 5. The worst pain I experienced while getting tattooed. Now, moving down to my outer calf, I guess this area is where Ron and Hermione is. Now, this piece is definitely an eye catcher, and it's for good reason. I mean, there was a lot of detail that was packed into this tattoo, along with a lot of color. So it was a lot of hours under the needle. Now, the one thing that I will say is that it actually wasn't that bad. That was until Matt got down by where my ankle is, where Hermione is. He had to pack some solid blacks into there, and it was like right on my ankle bone, and all I felt was like my whole body vibrating because of the sensation of the tattoo needle. Like, it literally felt like the needle was bouncing off of my bone. It was terrible. The worst part of getting tattooed on the lower half of your leg is definitely the healing process. That area of the body, it doesn't have much blood flow there, so it takes a lot longer for the tattoo to heal, and it also swells up like crazy. The pain, I would probably give maybe like a 2 out of 5, but the healing process, it makes me never want to do that again. Flipping on to the outer side of my lower leg, this area was probably the second worst area that I got tattooed so far on my body. From all the tattoos I have so far, the leg is literally no joke. This lower part of the leg, especially where he had to pack in those blues of the Patronus, and oh my god, every single time he was like, Mike, we gotta go pack in some more blues. I was crying inside, but I smiled in the process because I didn't want to look like no bitch, even though I was bitching inside. For the pain scale, definitely gonna give this spot a 4 out of 5. Second worst tattoo that I got so far. Moving on to the whole back of my calf, I couldn't believe how much room we had there, so it was definitely a longer day under the needle getting tattooed, but even though it was longer under the needle, it really didn't equal out to pain, surprisingly. Now, the area is big, but we really didn't have to pack so much ink into the skin because Matt was using a lot of my own skin tones, say like in the owl, for example, because the owl is white. Now, Hagrid is a little bit darker, so there was a lot of ink packing in there, and that spot really did suck. So I would say that on the pain scale, for this whole area, I would say a 3 out of 5. Now, I've vlogged my whole leg sleeve journey, so if you want to see me getting these tattoos live, go check out this playlist right here, and if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe. See you in the next video.